by 1 run as they take the first of this 3-game series against Cincinnati. Bruce Berenyi with an outstanding performance is the winner to pick up his first victory of the year, and Doug Sisk pitches fine ball in relief, his usual exciting appearance, to get his first save of the season. Carter encouraging him, but Dougie coming in to do the job. The Mets, specializing in the 1-run affair, have beaten Mario Soto for only the 2nd time in Soto's career. Soto now 1-1 on the year. Tim and I'll be back to wrap it up. The Mets win it 1-0 over Cincinnati. We're back at Shea after this word from Nissan.
Well, welcome to Kiners Korner. The Mets, after starting out the season with 2 wins over the Cardinals, opened up a 3-game homestand with the Cincinnati Reds, and they won the first game of the 3 games by a score of 1-0. And the star of the ball game, Bruce Berenyi, who pitched a sensational 7 innings, and we're going to have him here to talk with him. We'll also be looking at the highlights of the ball game. But on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds, it would take a lot of pitching to beat him, and that's exactly what the Mets got, as they won by a score of 1-0. And the winning pitcher in the ball game was Bruce Berenyi. And Bruce, at the start of the ball game, you had a very tough adversary. What did you have in mind?
Well, I knew, Mario doesn't give up too many runs, and with this lineup, I wasn't worried about us getting runs, but I knew I had to hold them to a minimum. And
you certainly did, the way it turned out.
Well, I just wanted to stay ahead of hitters and get off to a good start. And we played such great defense behind me. We made some great plays, and that made the difference.
Well, you certainly did pitch an outstanding ball game, and there was some speculation in spring training that you might be bothered with a stiff shoulder, which you had in spring training, but you made the statement that you normally have a stiff shoulder.
Yeah, it was nothing new for me, but it was bothering me a little bit. I was a little bit concerned, but I knew once the season started that the adrenaline would start flowing, and I'd be able to go out and pitch. And the last time out against Detroit in spring training, I felt like I was still strong after 5. So after that was a key start for me in Florida. I felt strong and felt confident that I could come out and pitch in the start of the season without too much trouble.
Well, you only pitched 13 innings in spring training, and of course you went a long way here in today's ball game. You were throwing 90 miles an hour at the start of the ball game, pretty close to your velocity.
Yeah, velocity-wise, I could tell I was losing a little bit of velocity in the last couple innings, but I had good location, and Gary helped me out in that department, and a good movement on the ball, and I was staying ahead of the hitters, and it makes all the difference in the world. It's a lot more fun that way.
Yeah, it certainly is. You dropped down to about 86 before you left the ball game. In the top of the first inning, your first batter was Eric Davis, and you got off to a fine start with him, got him with a fastball. And Eric Davis, a potential man, but he turned out to be a good outman for the Mets in this ball game.
Well, I think Eric was looking for a slider in the first inning, that situation. He knows how I've pitched in the past, and I kind of went reverse psychology with him. I kind of felt like he was going to be looking for a breaking pitch, and I just kind of got the fastball by him and caught him looking.
Got him on the inside corner. Now your next batter is Pete Rose, and he singled for the only hit that you eventually gave up, and then you came down here to Cedeno and
had a good breaking pitch today. Threw it more or less where I wanted to all the time, except for the time I hit Bill Ardello with it. But made some good pitches. That play was, it was just like I was thinking about that happening before I threw the pitch.
Well, you got yourself in a jam before you got that double play. You hit a batter, and you also walked the pitcher, and that looked like a tough situation for you. And then you came up with that big double play, and then got a fine play out in center field on Pete Rose by Mookie Wilson.
Great, outstanding. When I get out of a situation like that, I get 2 outs and get a runner on third, and I'm thinking, trying to concentrate. Okay, you're still not out of the fire yet. And I really tried to concentrate and make a good pitch, but I got the breaking pitch up a little bit to Pete, and he hit it the other way, and Mookie just made a fantastic play on it.
Well, you gave up only 1 base hit. That was DeRose. In 7 innings of work, he struck out 6. If you'd been pitching a no-hitter, would you have left the ball game?
I wouldn't have wanted to. I don't think Davey would have taken me out either. It's a different situation though. With 1 hit, it's totally different, especially first game of the year.
You pitched a 1-hitter in your major league career against Montreal. No hitters.
Right.
But certainly a great performance. What about pitching against your former teammates, the Cincinnati Reds? Any special incentive?
Oh, of course. I think everybody on that team is a good friend of mine, but friends go out the window when you're out there competing, and I really enjoy pitching against them. I get a little extra pumped up when I face them.
Well, your record against the Reds, 2-1 now since coming over to the Mets, and congratulations on a very strong performance.
Thanks, Ralph.
Bruce Berenyi will return right after this message from National Westminster Bank.
Fourth strikeout for Bruce.
On the combined pitching, Bruce Berenyi, who went 7 innings, gave up only 1 hit. Doug Sisk came in the ball game to get his first save. Berenyi now 1-0. And the highlights of the ball game. In the top of the first inning, well, who else but Pete Rose to get the first hit of the ball game. Rose against Berenyi slices it down in the left field area, just fair, and George Foster has to take it on one bounce. Pete Rose coming up with his 4,101st base hit. He's 90 away from Ty Cobb. Right here, though, Mookie Wilson. And he grounded to the first baseman Rose, who threw home to pick up Santana at home plate, kept the Mets from scoring. Now Carter does it all once again. He's had 3 big hits in 3 ball games for the New York Mets, his second home run of the year. And Carter with that home run, giving the Mets their only run. Carter now has really contributed to the Mets, both defensively and from the offensive side, and he is now with 2 home runs and 3 very big hits. Here's Pete Rose again, and Pete Rose comes up with this line drive in the left center with no one on base. A great catch by Mookie Wilson. Here's Backman with a drive out to deep right center. Eric Davis comes up with this brilliant play to take an extra base hit away. Might have been an inside-the-park home run if it had dropped. A big play here, a double play for the Mets. Doug Sisk now pitching, walked his first man in 4 pitches, and then got the double play. Parker now drives one to right field, and Strawberry comes in to make an outstanding play. That also kept Parker off the bases. Right here, the final out of the ball game as Johnson picks up the ground ball, and the Mets win it by a score of 1-0. So the Mets off to a very fast start. They have won 3 in a row. They have a chance to tie their all-time fastest start of 4 consecutive wins. That was back in 1973. The Mets actually did not have a great year that year. They did win. They defeated Cincinnati in the playoffs, winning 3 out of the 5 ball games, went to the World Series, and lost to Oakland. Paid attendance out here was 31,120. Bruce Berenyi with the 1-hitter through 7 innings, throwing around 90 miles an hour at the beginning of the ball game. At one point in the game, he retired 14 in a row. One more time now to look at the home run, the only run of the ball game. It's hit by Gary Carter, and Carter jumping on that fastball by Mario Soto, and it goes into left center field. That's Carter country out there. So a fine ball game for the New York Mets. They'll be playing again tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll be back in the air on WRTV with our next broadcast. And once again, the final score, it is the Mets 1, the Cincinnati Reds 0.